collision, to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Spotlight. This is the home of unfiltered conversation, where real talk is what we do. I am none other than Donna Thompson.
Yes, and I'm Dr. Laxley Stephenson, and together we are your moderators. You know, some people call us, at least they call Donna, the fearless moderator. I'm trying to catch up with her, keep pace with her. So, Donna, how are you today?
I am great this Monday evening, I must say. And how are you?
Man, I'm awesome. You know, coming off of a big weekend, birthday weekend, and I'm just fired up. I'm on top of the world, and everything is happening. Everything is going on good. So, what can I say? What can I say? What can I say? All is well. You know, nothing I can complain about. So, what's happening in a collision with purpose world?
Wow. So a collision with purpose. We have so much things going on, Doc, that, oh my gosh, it's like, it just, like I always say, right? It just keeps, every week is something new that's added to a collision with purpose. We just keep growing. But what we definitely have coming up very, very close in the future is none other than our colloquium, February 22nd at Shiloh High School. And of course, that is the place where everyone, you need to be there. Not even want to, you need to be in that room. I encourage everyone to get your tickets now. There's an early bird special going on, so I would jump on it before ticket sales go up. So big things that's happening in a collision with purpose. We have daily insights that is hot on the press, getting ready to be released. So that's something that, is going to be a huge deal. And of course, just great impact that it's going to have on individuals. So yeah, that's a masterpiece right there. That's coming out.
Impact on top of impact. But here's the impact right here. My daughter, Kiana, is on with us. Hey, Kiana.
Hi, Dr. Dad.
Every day I get a new name, Dr. Dad. But, Kiana is on for a very special reason. Kiana is one of the person who's behind the scene doing all the work for us here, making sure everything is done professionally, everything is looking right, from our logos to our designs and editing. But she used to edit. She don't do that anymore. But tonight she's going to make a big announcement. And she's on. So, Kiana, before you make the announcement, can I play a video?
Sure.
All right, cool.
I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth. Cause I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as He told me to pray for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, He is in me. I am a bold kid, He loves me, standing firm on His word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because He is with me. Be bold.
Right, I'm a bold kid. What
Love
is a
it.
bold kid? Kiana, can you talk to us about this thing here that you're calling I'm a bold kid? What is it all about?
Sure. So my sister and I, Tremaine, the Lord just kind of placed it in our laps, and we have 2 small children, and He has called us to be bold in everything that we do. And so, having small kids, the age of 5, we wanted to create something that is a statement piece, something that can spread the word of God, the message of God, the love of God. And so we created the Bold Kids, and to also remind them who they are, that they are bold and that they need to speak the things of God, that they need to walk in the things of God and to not ever falter from that. So we created the Bold Kids, and it's inclusive. We have a lot of characters that we created and a mixture of races, and just want everyone to feel represented in this new venture that we're doing. So that was really the basis of it. So we have hoodies, we have shirts, we have stickers, we have everything that can display the message of Christ. Like this line here is called I am fearfully made, and we want the kids to know that I'm fearfully made, and we want people who read it to understand that they are fearfully made as well. So we are just spreading the word of God and teaching kids to be authentic in who they are in their faith and be bold in it. So that's basically what we're doing boldly.
I wanted to be the first one to say I'm so proud of you and your sister. So as I watched this thing develop, and I know it's about to go live,
Yes.
and I already know the impact it's going to have. It's going to have, because it's already having that impact. It's having that impact. And you should also mention that all these characters are your nieces, nephews, and so forth.
So what we did was we said we have different races, but the names are our cousins. We gave everyone a character a name, and they're named after our family members. Yeah. So we wanted to include them in that.
Donna, you want to jump in on this bold kid thing?
Yeah, that's I definitely thank you for doing that, for you and Tremaine for doing that. That is awesome. And I know that it's definitely going to be very, very, very successful. And I know you put a lot of hard work into doing that. But are the kids aware?
Oh yeah.
They're
Oh yeah, like our theme song, the kids sing it all the time. And they always say, we're bold kids. And we're like, yes. And they are bold kids. We remind them they are. So the kids are our kids, our cousins. Some of them know that, but some of the kids are smaller, younger, but our kids definitely know about this line. They know they're on the shirts. They know they're represented. They know that they know who they are. So yeah, we're sure that
what a great way to leave a legacy, to build a legacy and leave a legacy for your children.
It's not just a legacy for our children. We really want to, also we want people to understand who they are at a young age, because there's so many things being filtered through media and so many different things, and we don't want kids to get lost in that. And we're targeting the parents first, because it starts at home, but we want the kids to understand that it's okay to love Jesus, and it's okay to be bold for Jesus because he called you to be bold. And so be that bold light in every dark place. So,
Right.
oh yeah. And also that's good point. Right, close to that. We're all bold kids. We're all his kids, no matter the age that we are. So we have to walk in that as well. We're all bold kids. So we're all his children.
When is this thing going live?
Friday, the site will be going live on Friday. So it's theboldkids.com.
Okay.
So.
And if you can, when you get off, just put that in the chat, in the caption. And I'll say this, Donna, they're already selling these products. These products with movement. They've been selling these products. And I just from what I've seen, this thing is gonna be like selling like hotcakes. The quality of the hoodies and the shirts, and they're so colorful, but the messaging is the key, what it's really saying. So congratulations again, Kiana and Tremaine. Appreciate you jumping on, because I know you don't normally come on, but I really appreciate you coming on. So, but I know you got to go.
Yes.
So is there anything else you want to say before you go?
Check it out. Buy a piece for yourself and kids. Get the message out.
Okay, so before you go, what's the site again? Is it The Bold Kids or just Bold Kids?
The Bold Kids with an S.com. And we go live on Friday. I'm not sure what time. Maybe Tremaine will post what time she's going to make it go live, but it'll be live Friday for sure.
It's October 11th.
All right. Your sister wanted to tell you good job, and I say good job to both of you. Great stuff. All right. So, all right, we have a packed show tonight. We have some special guests. They're in the green room, and we don't want to keep them waiting too long because I know they have a story to tell. We want to make sure that story is received. Anyone out there, tune in to us. We welcome you. We ask that you share. What they say, when you share, you care, right? Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we want you to do. Donna, let's take a quick break, all right? And we'll take an on-screen break, and then we'll bring our guests on. How about that?
Okay, sure.
All right, cool.
Caught in the web of what they said, lost in the expectations, living in hesitation. I walked in other shadows. Deep inside, a fire burned, a whisper turned to a roar. I am liberated from walking in other shadows. I walk in my authentic self, breaking chains within. From the shadows to the light, a new life begins, shining so bright. Society tries to mold you into someone you couldn't be, fighting through the darkness to find the real me. No longer bound by others' rules, let your spirit soar. With every step you take, you are stronger than before. I am liberated from walking in other shadows.
Right. I'm liberating from walking in other shadows. Real quick, Donna, what is this all about? Shadows Within.
So Shadows Within is an anthology that will be featuring approximately 21 co-authors. So we'll just share our stories of walking in other people's shadows majority of our life, and really how we've broken those shackles, how we've come full circle out of the darkness and become liberated to now walk in that authentic person that you are, so that now you can really walk in your true purpose and your true gift that you are blessed with. So that's what it's Shadows Within it's really about, and it is an anthology where we'll be sharing our journey.
Wow. And again, it's all about purpose for us here at A Collision with Purpose. It's all about empowerment. It's all about going in there, helping others, individuals who are out there unsure of what their life is about, who they are. And it's about helping, lifting them up, getting them into that place where they're now living a life of purpose. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. So, Donna, we have some guests backstage. Can you do us the honor of bringing each of them on one at a time? We want to make sure they come on in grand style. So let's do that.
Okay, sure. So let me I'll bring them on and then do a quick synopsis of each person's bio, if that's okay.
You do your thing.
All right. Probably it's a bit easier. So yes. So welcome. We have Miss Karla Stevens Hall that is here with us this evening, and I'm just gonna give just a brief introduction of who you are, because you are definitely going to tell us all about yourself and your journey here, right? So Ms. Stevens Hall, she's a transformational leader who is an inspiring motivational speaker. She has a passion for advocating for personal and professional growth in individuals. And she is also a visionary leader in the world of finance and business. Wow, I can't wait to hear more about that, because a lot of us need to get our finances in order in these days.
Thank you.
So we definitely need more info on that. And she holds her master's in business. She has an MBA, and that was from the University of East London. Nice, wonderful. And actually, she is an author. So welcome, Miss
Thank you.
You are
I think you need to say she's a best-selling author. How about that? Let's get it right.
Yeah, I like
There you go. My apologies. She is
Let's get it straight.
Yes. My apologies. She is a best-selling author. So welcome to our show. And the next guest that we have, I'm going to bring up, is Miss Keisha Brown-Lyesam. And she's a minister, life coach, speaker. And she is the CEO of Be Consistent 365 Training and Management Consultants. And she's the founder of Empower to Succeed Conference. And she is also a best-selling author. So let's welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening, Miss Brown. Did I pronounce your last name correctly? Brown, is it Lyesam?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. And then now the next person that we have, oh wow, we really have a packed show this evening. We have a lot of guests. This is great. So the next person we have is none other than Miss Seya Wilson. And I'm having to read this, so do excuse me for having to read their bios. She is a multifaceted professional, and she has an expertise in management systems, project management, and actually she has a certification in project management. So she is a certified project manager, that's a big deal. So great going there. She is also sustainable development and anthropology. She studied that in South Africa. I'm excited to hear all about that venture. And she also is a best-selling author. So we're going to welcome Miss Seya. Oh my gosh. Wow, welcome, ladies. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. You guys brighten up the screen. I love it. Put some sunlight on it. All the way from Jamaica. Sunlight on the screen. I love this. I say, my good friend, how are you?
I'm good. I forgot to mention in my bio that I am a member of Global Humanity Network. I think that was not on it, but I'm proud to say that.
Yes. That is some organization, isn't it?
It is.
I'm proud to say that as well. That we are that kind of organization. We do great work everywhere. And you have Donna here, the vice president of Global Humanity Network, and proud to say that I'm the president of that organization. and you played such an instrumental role in all the work we do. But tonight we're not going to talk about JHN. We're going to talk about, what are we talking about tonight, Seya?
We are talking about our newest book. We had a launch on Friday night, and there were two other ladies. Dr. Sharlette is not with us, and Sandrina. But I didn't know these ladies before. We were brought together by our good friend, business coach, publisher, publishing house, CEO Joan Wright Good, and we were asked to write a chapter looking at, so creatively it was done where we have people who are divorced, people who are married, people like me who are single and unmarried, and just our stories about how we went beyond surviving in our different business ventures and professional pursuits, but we are thriving. But it's some real tell-all stories that I found that oftentimes, especially as women, we find ourselves in positions where we don't want to talk about the misfortunes and challenges that have arisen on the way, because we're in the media, after all, we're in the era of social media where things look great on the outside, but nobody wants to talk about the significant challenges that we face, especially as women, trying to balance all the facets of our lives. And what we have sought to do through 15 authors, so 5 from Jamaica and the rest from the Caribbean and the US, is to tell our stories. So each of us on here represents a different aspect. As I said, we're all people of faith, so that's a common thing, that's a common thread that has bound us together. We just speak about how in different ways we have relied on our faith. But we know that Jamaican people say without work, faith is dead. So it's not just about what God has done for us, but also what we have done for ourselves and how we have relied on our faith to carry us through our challenges and our various definitions of what thriving is, because thriving is not a universal word. And on Friday night, we shared just what made us write this book, which I'm sure we'll all tell our part, but just to emphasize that thriving looks different through everyone else's lens and perspectives.
You know, as I'm looking at the title, Beyond Survival to Thriving, you know, I had a conversation with an entrepreneur, a young lady in Jamaica. And I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "I am thriving in survival mode." So it's interesting to see how you turn it. You turn it, which is so many entrepreneurs, so many business owners, that's where they are, right? They're making it work in a situation that is not so conducive and friendly for good business practice, right? And for things and to receive good returns and your investment. So awesome title, Beyond Survival to Thriving. So Karla, I have a question for you. Did the three of you know each other before this venture?
No, we didn't know each other at all. I may have known of Seya, but we didn't know each other at all. This book just brought us together. And I think that's what's so amazing about it. Because even as we were just kind of realizing we're in Jamaica and we're authors together, we were learning so much about each other. And it was just such a pleasure to just connect with women who were who are just being women and living lives of challenge as well, but we're actually thriving despite all of that. So it was quite interesting to hear everybody's take on their own life, even without reading the book, just, get their own take on their lives just while we're talking in a WhatsApp group. So it was quite fun and interesting to just learn and meet these ladies.
And Donna, I would have something to say about that. Donna, you've written 2 anthologies you've been in, at least. Yeah? 3? So she's an expert. Donna's an expert at these things. Mm-hmm. I should say Donna is an international, note the word, international best-selling author, right? So she's been there. I know because Because Donna, you always when I hear you talk to potential contributors, to your new anthology, Shadows Within, you talk about the support system
Mm-hmm.
that the different participants, often share with each other, and that's what I'm hearing now. You get in to hear other story. Was there any teary eyes coming from this process, Teresa?
Not really teary eyes, but it caused me to do some form of reflection and just to see how God has been good. He has allowed me to survive, and He has brought me to a place where I can say that I'm thriving. So the physical tears did not come, but I think if we can say the emotional inside tears, of joy to know that the Lord has had me on a journey where sometimes I didn't even know where I was going. It was like, Abraham, that he says, get out of your country and from your kindred to a place that I'll show you. And through obedience, I can say that He has been bringing me into the season and that place of thriving.
Donna, I know you have something to say about that.
Wow. Wow. I wanted to ask, and this question goes to all three of you ladies. Once you wrote your story, how did you feel after that?
Let me go first because I can see Karla thinking to say. So I have come to a place. That I used to tell people that I was always destined to be the bridesmaid and never the bride, because I was always playing a support role in everyone else's story. And most recently, probably in the last year or two, I started to be the bride, right? So I'm on a trajectory. Just so you all know, I'm on a trajectory. So get your dresses and suits ready, because I'm on a trajectory to
The thriving dress.
to be my own support. But in all seriousness, I was very timid to put the story out there. Because believe it or not, we all have, and that's why I started out with what our definition of thriving is. So I just didn't think I was thriving, and I said, maybe I would be lying if I'm a part of a book that spoke about thriving. But then I said, but what is thriving? Is it like happiness, that is a consistent thing that you use actions, and it's about one action to the next? Or is it a state of mind? Is it that I've decided that my life is going to be one of thriving, and I continue to take the steps I need to take to go towards my definition of what thriving is? So I thought about it. I said at the launch, Joan had to call me quite a bit of times, and I said, boy, Joan she really persistent, because I wouldn't call me back if I was her, because I was just not responding. And when I would respond, I would say, boy, I don't know. And I remember I came off the plane in Florida, and she called me, and I said, you know what, just sell the money. And then she said, you're the only author that has not sent in a paragraph. And I took off a day to write it, and I didn't write it. I went back to work the next day, and she said, but you said you were going to send it yesterday. And I thought, I was like, my integrity is so in question right now, because I said I was going to do something that I didn't do. And I remember I had some journals that I wrote when I was going through the tough days of business and just the tough days of life in full survival mode. But I would write down every day just some of the emotions, and I got them. I recently moved, so I had to go by my parents' house to try and find all the books. And I remember that what was a common thread in all that I was writing, what I wrote of as my aspirations then is the life that I'm living now. that's how I knew that I am actually thriving. I've taken huge steps in the last 3 or 4 years. And I felt I came home, I wrote it in a Google Share document. And because I said, after I go through all of this, I can't lose it. So I have to make sure it's in a shared document so that I don't lose it. And I wrote it. I remember I finished probably about 12 in the night. I'd read it over once and I hit send and I felt relieved and I felt like I did a service to the world to be able to. I said, somebody going to read this and they're going to feel inspired and they're not going to give up and they're going to stick to it because a constant thing is that everything I said that I would do, I have done it. So I think that that is the biggest way in which you know that you're a thriver because you do relentlessly what you say you're going to do, no matter how long it takes.
Keisha, before you answer, and Karla, before you answer the question, I want to read something. I've called myself a nevertheless person as I remain undiminished by life's challenges, and I am nevertheless for them. What is a nevertheless person?
A nevertheless person is somebody who has made up their mind that life, in everything you do, there's going to be a challenge. And despite these challenges, I think that I had some levels of PTD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from just battling the business, battling having to go to South Africa. And I remember telling the story at the launch that I landed in Atlanta and I saw a gentleman on the escalator and he said, "You look like you've had a rough day." I said, "I've been traveling for 16 hours. And he said, "But you look like you've had a rough day." And I remember saying, "I've had a rough 3 years." And he took me with him to the lounge and said, "It's all on me. Just eat and drink and have a great time." And I found myself having to reflect at that point. Are we less for the challenges? We should never be because it is a part of the journey. So then I said to myself, I am a nevertheless person. I'm never less or I'm never less of a person because I did something and it didn't succeed. I'm not less of a person because I tried a business and it didn't work. It is a part of the entire process of me being here where I am. And that's why I call myself a nevertheless person, because often we go through a lot of challenges to reach a destination. And that's why a lot of people don't finish, because you become less and less for each experience instead of being more and more.
Thank you for sharing that. And there's a reason why I asked, and you will share that with you as we go along. Donna, you want to take it back and to have Karla or Keisha address the question?
Yeah, sure. So Karla or Keisha, you could, answer the question next, and I'll just repeat it. After you wrote your chapter and everything else, and you send it off, how did you feel?
All right. How did I feel? I think for me, my process was a little different. So one of the things for me is that I think that my life has a purpose. Sometimes I try to figure out what that purpose is. I've had quite a few things health-wise, etc., and I'm here. And the fact that I'm alive is something that tells me that there is a purpose for me. And so I just continue to try to live that. So I've had a lot of experiences, both from a family perspective, both from overcoming illness, also not being able to have children and now having children and a family, also focusing on my career, fighting to actually have a career, and now being in a situation where I'm alive with a family and a career. So I didn't actually tell my life story. What I did was look at how did I feel while going through some of this. And what would I want to tell somebody who was in that position, now that I can actually see how I overcame it? To say, what would I want to tell somebody going through some of the things I went through and some of the help I got? You know, in the moments of, oh my goodness, I want to give up because I'm overwhelmed. I'm just tired. You know, my daughter has ADHD. At that point, realizing she has ADHD, how do I deal with that? How do I make sure I show up for everything? Because for me, it's about that balance to make sure that you're able to achieve everything. And that has always been one of the things for me. Everybody says I'm doing everything, but it's because I've been thrown into everything. Um, because I am a natural go-getter. And so what you find is, yes, I had an illness, and then I decided, well, I mean, we're just gonna fight and we're gonna figure this out because you're not gonna win. So, you know, I have God and I'm gonna work with God and we're gonna figure this out, but you're not gonna win. You know, to get to the point where I say, wow, I have, you can't have kids and you can't have kids. Okay, so now I'm focusing on my career and I'm getting there because I had already decided I'm going to be the best at anything I do. I started out in internal audit. I became a CIA. I started out in accounting. I became a CPA. Everything I do is to become that consummate professional and to also be a good leader and and impact people. I feel like my purpose is to impact people in a positive way, in any way that I can. And so while I'm going through that, and I'm still having to deal with myself, then I have kids and I have to make time for my kids. I have to make time for my husband because this is the life that God has given me, and I have to find a way to make sure that it all works. And so I face things that bothered me, things like mob guilt, things like how do I make sure that I take care of my husband as well, while focusing on a child that I have to figure out how to get them proper health care. How do I make sure I take care of my parents who are aging? How do I be there for everybody? And so there's some methods that I use to get through that so that I can have peace, because for me, thriving is being able to find that balance. And one of the things I talk about in the book is that we overestimate what balance is, but there's no such thing called balance. It's just prioritizing what is important in that particular moment that will make you happy. So there are times I have to prioritize my husband, even though my children may need me. But there's also times I have to prioritize my kids. And there's times I have to work late and prioritize work because it's just what is important to make sure that I show up everywhere that I need to. And I spoke about my village as well, which was so important because I am only able to show up that way because I have support. And I created that support for myself. And so those are some of the things I put there because I want somebody who is struggling, going through these things to get to thrive by using some of the methods that I have used in order to thrive. And so when I finished, I thought, okay, I've advised a few people if they're thinking about this, thinking about that. So I was satisfied that I was helping. I have helped. If you read the book and you're going through something, I have helped you.
Awesome.
Before you move on, Donna, what is the title of your chapter?
Oh, my brain just went.
Mine went as well, so we all go.
Seya, do you have the book? I can tell you the title of my chapter.
Thriving in marriage.
Thriving in marriage. Thriving. Well, I'm a part of that era called Thriving in Marriage, but it was really not about marriage alone. It was just about thriving in family, as a family.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll give Reese a chance to share her piece.
Yeah.
Donna, do you need to repeat the question?
Sure. I'll repeat the question. So, Carissa, same question. After you wrote your chapter and you did all the work and everything, and you sent it off, your final manuscript, you sent it off, and this is it, and it went off. How did that make you feel? How did that leave you feeling?
I felt a bit achieved in the sense that for myself, I've always been on a journey. My chapter in question is Thriving in Marriage, and it focuses on marriage is honorable. I shared in the book how I've started my journey and how the Lord has allowed me to learn certain characteristics, like resilience, perseverance, building my faith. I got saved from I was 14 years old. I spoke to being reared or grown by my grandparents simply because I was born by two teenage parents who were battling emotional trauma, financial issues. And so my grandparents, who really, they were like fishermen, the mason, and my grandmother, she worked as a housewife. They grew 8 children, so life was not easy. I was grown in poverty. And I also have this belief that poverty is a second nature to sin that fights against humanity. And so through all of those situations, the Lord has allowed me to learn, as I said before, resilience, patience, and being on that journey. I now recognize in my marriage that the foundation that the Lord has given to me, or the experience that He has allowed me to go through, was really preparing me so that I can now write about marriage is honorable. I was really running from poverty, so it took me until I was 30 years old to get married, because I was just focusing on, that vehicle for me called education, where I thought that education was the vehicle of escape from my poverty situation. So by the time I was age 27, I would have had my master's in business administration. A poor young girl from the parish of Trelawney in Jamaica. The Lord, with resilience and understanding that God has a plan for us. He says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." And I can say that because of that hope, the Lord has prepared me so that I am able to use those characteristics that I have mentioned to really overcome challenges in my marriage. In the book, I focus on the fact that in your marriage, you first must understand God's purpose for your marriage. And if you don't really understand the God-given purpose, because everything is purpose, right? If you don't understand God's purpose for your marriage, then we often see where many marriages, results in divorce. And God really has a plan, not just for you personally, but a plan for your marriage. Likewise, He has a plan for your profession, and He has a plan for everything or every aspect of your life. And so my faith would be I would count it on my faith to be the main foundation that really helps me to balance between my profession, my relationship, and the business that the Lord has given unto me. So I shared in the book, and my advice to the world is that if you're going to thrive in marriage, then you first have to understand your purpose in marriage. Secondly, you have to be committed. Irregardless of the challenges that you face, it is that same purpose that is going to allow you to survive the storms of life. And as you survive the storms of life, then you will recognize that the Lord is bringing you over on the other side of thriving. So need to be committed, need to communicate, and need to love each other. And once you're able to and it's a process. So once you're able to understand the process, then of course you will be able to thrive in marriage.
Awesome. So we can assume that survival is not a good place to be. You don't want to stay there for too long, right?
Right.
Even though it's a place we all work from or work through. Now, what are some of the obstacles that you believe, and this is for all of you, that some of the obstacles that is holding some people back and keeping them in that place of survival mode?
All right. So you want to go ahead, Seya?
Since you were on your feet, you can go ahead.
Okay. All right. I think one of the reasons that really allow persons, first of all, I must say that if you stay too long in that place of survival, you will burn out and you will become discouraged because you're really not seeing yourself moving to another level that will cause you to feel or to bring some form of satisfaction. So you can only survive for a certain time, just like you have somebody, you know, who is being left out there in the sea, and they will tell you that you can survive for so much and no more days. So if you are in that place of survival, then I would encourage somebody to, if you are not able to take yourself out of that mode, seek help, right? Or you might need to change your mindset. Or you might need to understand that you are meant for purpose. So some of the things that allow persons to stay in that place is that they don't believe in themselves, or they think that they don't have the resources that they need, when we all, in fact, have the resources. But sometimes we are not able to maximize the resources until we really find somebody who is our destiny helper. And I can say that I believe that Dr. Joan is one of my destiny helper at this stage in my life, you know, who the Lord would have allowed me to meet her so that I could really tap into this era of my life and really share with the world that, look, if you believe in the Lord and if you stick with it and if you get help, have a proper support system, then of course you'll be able to thrive in your marriage.
And let's give a big shout out for Dr. Joan for the work she's doing with you in your life and the impact that you will have through her, whatever she's doing for you and others. So big stuff there, big stuff, big stuff. Say, I know you want to take this on, so can you share with us, please?
Okay, so the question was why some people stay in the survival.
Yeah. What are some of the obstacles that they have to overcome or holding them back, things that are holding them back, keeping them in that place?
So I think for me, and I think I speak a lot for a lot of single women, it's no easy feat. So you have different stages of fear. So I've found that no matter what we say and how we try to project that we don't care what people think, when you're about to take huge steps, especially steps like business and huge undertakings, it is in the eyes of others. People are going to scrutinize you, and you battle with a lot of trying to figure out if it's going to work and if it's not going to work and how it will seem in terms of the grand scheme of your own human makeup. So if your business fails, if you look to the average person as somebody who starts things and doesn't finish it, or if you just don't have good business acumen, whatever it is, the fear of what people say plays a part in a lot of the reasons why people are not able to just pull themselves forward. But I think another way in which people exhibit the fear as well is just to seek that kind of help. Some people we just don't know where to start. And as Keisha said, some people has a destiny helper. In Jamaica, we call them, you know, your godfather, somebody who just comes and helps you. But it's really to figure out the blueprint and the master plan that you have for your life. And then I have found as well that people tend to think, you know, well, you do so much, you do too much. And you kind of get boxed into thinking that, okay, so I don't need to do so much. you kind of need for just kind of small up yourself a little bit more because it's just too much attention and people saying, but you write book, and you start business, and you have a work. What are you really? But then you realize that you are many things to many people. But there's a quote I want to talk about because I remember it was defining for me when a friend of mine shared it. It's a quote by Karl Marx that says, men can be distinguished from animals by consciousness, by religion, or anything else you like. They themselves begin to distinguish themselves from animals as soon as they begin to produce their own means of subsistence, a step which is conditioned by their physical organization. So, of course, I said, what this mean? And I started to think, because I didn't want to ask, because I want to seem a little deeper than that. You just don't want to seem like, say, you don't know things and you don't read and you don't understand. So I said, but I don't understand. And he said, you can be anything if you are just somebody else in the world. You can be anything. Anything that anybody else defines you as. But the moment you begin to organize yourself, so your ability to organize yourself as a human being is when you become impenetrable, is when you become somebody that can be anywhere. You can walk into a room and own the room, and owning the room is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I've had people who have said to me, well, you want to own a room, you want to go and be a part of. I say, no. You can own a room in many different ways, right? So the physical organization, meaning I get up and say tomorrow morning that I am going to get these things done. And as Karla said, it's always a choice. You decide what are the things that are the top 5 things. Because we can't, no matter how we go through the to-do list, I try that all the time. The to-do list go from Monday and it's all Saturday and it just, right? So I just say, today, these are the things that I can do, but we always do it by prioritization. So you're not going to say, all right, I'm going to make sure that I talk to Karla today, but my child going to be at school till 7. No, you prioritize the things. So everything has a structure. But back to the physical organization. So you can be anything. And we're animals, human beings are animals. But how we decide to organize ourselves around the things that we need to do, and that is when you move from survival. So surviving is typically for me, so my definition of surviving is that I don't have a real plan and I can't feel my way around what I need to get done, and I just winging it, and I don't like free fall. I don't like feeling like I'm not in control of what is happening. But some people use it to think that it's a bad thing. Not a bad thing. We need to be in control of what next and even be able to plan it. So we don't know what's next half the time, but we can try to chart our path by organizing our physical selves, right? Mobilize yourself, organize yourself. And in my role as a project manager, today, a problem was escalated to me, and a member of my team say, you're going to get into your masculine energy. And I say, wow, that's that's difficult for you. I was like, why would you say that? But I just organized my physical self around what needed to be done. And as a single woman, which is in my chapter, that quote is actually in the chapter, I spoke about the particular challenges you face when you're a single woman trying to get things done and you're out there and you seem to be taking on a little bit of the masculine energy because the world kind of forces you when you're in survival mode, which for me, being single allowed me to feel a little vulnerable while pursuing some of my dreams. So I would say that survival mode is a state of mind. It takes a little while to get out of it, but it's really about the physical organization. What you decide that you're going to organize your life and mind and body around getting done.
State of mind. Mind is a powerful thing, right? And can be used in both directions, right?
Yeah.
In good way. If you allow it, so you must be very decisive and know what your mind is about and what you're about. So, Karla, let's hear from you on that. And after that, we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll have some more questions. But let's just hear from you real quick. on
All right. So I think what keeps a lot of people in survival and they can't really move to thriving is partly the mindset. The mindset is a big part of it, but it's the mindset aspect is how you approach things, because you have to decide that you're going to be a fighter. Because if you don't decide to fight, you've already lost. So a lot of I always tell people that without revolution there's no change, and you have to do that from an internal perspective. You have to look at somebody. Some people are not willing to look at what they are doing to see what is impacting them, to actually change some of their outlook in order to do something different. So they look at challenges. So something happens and they look at a challenge and they go, oh my, the world is against me, and they just cannot get out of that fog without realizing that the world is not against you. You have received it a particular way. It is now your job to say, okay, am I going to win or am I going to learn? Because there's two options. I don't lose. I win or I learn. So those are my two options. And so what a lot of people do is they fall into the lose. Something has affected me because somebody doesn't like me. The system is against me. All of that is happening. God is against me. All of that. But if they sit in that faith to say, look, I tell people all the time, God, I know it's kind of funny. I make a joke about it sometimes, but when they say that God gives his best soldiers the hardest battles, it's true. Sometimes I think God play a little too hard with some of us, and but I really do think that. So I think that I think a lot of people get stuck in the challenge without thinking, okay, this is an opportunity to either understand something, to grow, and to get through. And this is a part of your testimony. Another thing that I think allows people sometimes to stay in survival mode is that they believe this concept that we have nowadays of we keep our business to ourselves. Rubbish, in my opinion. I think, and that's one of the things I talk about, is that you need to figure out who have some people in your life that you can speak to about different things and go to them. Sometimes it's just to bounce an idea off them. And you need to make sure that when you look at the people in your life, they're the people who will support you through that challenge, that who will push you through some of that mindset issues that you may have. I remember there was a time when early on in my diagnosis, when I had issues, and I would call a best friend of mine and I said to him, oh my God, why me? His first response was, why not you? And I couldn't answer that question because I knew if there were other people in my position, they would treat it differently and they couldn't overcome. So sometimes you have to really pick the people who are in your life who can support you in a particular way. Everybody doesn't support you the same way, but you might have a friend who's always there at some particular points. You have a spiritual guardian, you have different people who are there for you, but you have to sometimes you have to build your own support system. And a lot of people sit in whatever challenges they're facing and they sit in it by themselves. And they say no man is an island, and that is true. And I think if people actually just thought about that a little bit more, they would realize that it's so important. And so one of the things that I have done, and I spoke about it as well, is that for me, village is very important. I call my people the village. And it's very important. So while I'm prioritizing things, I don't drop the ball on some things, because I know, for example, my kids, if I try to make every important function, but there are sometimes if I'm at work and I can't make it, my kids they don't even miss me, because I have a village of aunties and uncles who they know is gonna turn up for them. There is an auntie that does Thursday swimming. There is an uncle that does Tuesday football. There's that. So they know even if I am not present to do some things, they always have somebody. I was telling the story where my son at 5 we were having a little argument at 5. But he put, like when you watch the cartoons and you see them put the thing on their back with the stick and they're walking. So he packed a suitcase because he was leaving. So I said, where are you going? I'm going to my other house. I'm going to my other mommy. So I was like, who is that? Auntie Fiona. Bye. And he walked out. Now, I know if he was able to pick up the phone, we would have called Auntie Fiona to come and pick him up. But what that means for me is that my kids feel that they are loved by so many people that it's okay. So for me, when I go through mom guilt, I was going through that a lot. And my friends looked at me and they said, you know what your problem is? You sometimes think you can do it alone. You cannot. We are here. That's why we are here. Use us. We are here. And it was kind of so profound for them to say, stop. We are here. What is your problem? Are you going to drop down and we're going to watch you? We're not going to watch you. So get out of here. We're going to take the kids to swimming. We're going to do this. And, so sometimes you just have to find the people around you who will be honest with you, who will really tell you when you're going down the wrong path, but who will sit beside you and help to lift you up, to let you know that you're powerful. One of my sisters always tells me when I call her and I'm really overwhelmed, she says, let me tell you something. You are winning. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm winning? I'm tired. My liver hurts. I know my liver is aching because I'm tired. And she says, excuse me, you don't have 2.5 organs and you are up and running. You're winning, girl. What are you talking about? And she put so many things into perspective. So sometimes you have to have those people around you. So you have to choose the people around you to support you in the right way. And those are some of the things I talk about.
Awesome. And, you said a couple of things, many things and powerful stuff there. But, you said that you're winning or you're learning. And I'm going to say you're always winning. Because when you learn, sometimes you win more when you learn as opposed to achieving what you set out to achieve, right? Because when you sometimes, we get these things done, but we're not growing getting them done. But when we're not getting them done, we're really pushing ourselves and we're getting beyond ourselves, right? And that's when we're learning. So awesome stuff there. And there's a saying, right? And I can't remember who said this, that the pessimist sees difficulties in opportunities and the optimist sees opportunities in difficulties. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Absolutely. To just take on the challenge, because that is where you'll find your true self.
Yes.
Real. All right, so let's take a quick break. I know Seya is going to have to go. So Seya, well, on the break, unless you want to say something before we take the break.
No, I just want to say that I am so honored that I was able to be here, and I know I'm leaving you in 2 capable hands.
Well,
bye, Seya.
Thanks for coming on, Seya. Appreciate you. Good stuff. Keep doing what you're doing, and the only thing I say, do more of it.
I will. Donna, we'll talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
You have my number.
Definitely. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a quick break. All right, and then we'll come back.
Trails written of hearts that strive through fire and flame, they find their way, becoming iron where courage holds sway. Becoming iron, with heart forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction rising even higher, displaying strength in the fiercest fight, becoming iron, shining in the night. Faces the darkest night, the empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Together they rise, conquering fears, becoming iron through trials and fears. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction rising even higher.
iron shining in the night. And just so you know, that is an anthology we're doing. For men, it will be the template for how men should be. We have the brave man, we have the empowering man, we have the resilient man, an inspiring man. And this one will be coming out when is it coming out, Donna?
It's 2025.
2025.
Oh, awesome.
Strictly by invitation, and it's going to be something to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Coming iron, right?
Looking forward to that.
Well, it's coming. It will be here. Yeah, so, I don't know what you know about us at A Collision with Purpose, but we write books.
Mm-hmm.
We write books. We have one coming out at our colloquium in February 22nd. It's called Daily Insights Unveiled. Your Odyssey to Find Purpose.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Nice.
That's coming out, and we have done Unearthing You, Your Guide to Personal Discovery and Self-Growth. We've done that. Powerful. It's a guide. It will take you out of you, bring, whatever that person you believe that you want to be, should be, this book will deliver you to that place.
Nice.
Of course, we have A Collision with Purpose, In Pursuit of Purpose. So we do some stuff here, and Donna is doing the one called, what is it called, Donna?
It's called Shadows Within, Journey to Liberation.
And we've all lived there, right? We've all walked deep shadows.
Oh, yes.
And to some extent, we still are, aren't we?
Yes, we are still fighting the fight.
Yes.
Because if we're ever where we want to be and say we are, then we know we're in trouble, right?
True.
We got to always be in pursuit, going after
That's
it.
true.
Yeah, because we know
Always.
purpose. We know purpose is not a destination, right?
Yes.
Right?
That's
No.
true.
Okay, it's an ongoing process.
It's ongoing. It's a process.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. So Donna, I'm turning it back to you.
Yeah. So now that you're best-selling authors, right? What are your hopes that your work? What impact are you hoping that your work will have on the wide scheme of individuals who will be reading your story? And either of you can start.
You can go ahead, Carissa.
All right. Based on the scope of the work or the chapter that I would have written, I really would have wanted it to reach to as much women as possible who would have faced some of the challenges that I face, such as finding myself being the breadwinner for my family and having to survive. And I think the Lord is bringing me out of the survival season into the thriving because of what he has been doing for my family, my husband, and so on. He had his business and it failed terribly just before COVID. And we are just being able, to resurrect, not certainly from full death, but really, I want to be able to share with women that if you find yourself in that place, because sometimes you don't really have control over what happened to you. Sometimes you're walking and you just topple over. And so I found myself in that place and I had to take on the role. And sometimes I don't have the strength, but faith again helps me to balance. And I'm so happy that I was able, to support my family. And during that time, I had a situation when I had my son, and it was like he was a 10-pound baby, and the doctor says that my passage was able to, carry the baby, but it's just a little bit of delinquency. with the healthcare providers. And as a result, when I had my son, I my womb was torn, and I lost 3/4 of my blood from my body, and I was gasping for breath. And the nurse told me what really happened, along with another young lady who saw me in the theater, and she says, "Man, you were dying."
Mm.
She says, "You were dying." And the nurse hit me 3 times and says, "It's not time." I wrote in the book, I said, the nurse saying that it is time, it's really purpose saying, "Hey, I'm not through with you yet. It's not time. You have more work to do. I'm going to let go of you." And so with that, I would have written in the book where I had to get blood substitutes because there was only one parcel of blood in the entire country because I have a rare blood type. And my husband, during that time, all things were together for good. You know, when the business failed, I'm like, wow. But I really saw that all things, was working together for good because he was there to help me recover and to help me, with the baby and to help me with the house chore until I was able to recover and continue the survival journey of ensuring that, I take care of my family. So I would want to say to women out there that if you find yourselves in that era, do not give up. What you need to do is to find people who are strong support to you, who are able, to keep you, who are able to encourage you, able to push you, able to guide you. Because sometimes, we're talking to the world. It's not easy. Sometimes you feel as though you're gonna go crazy, right? Because the bills are there, the loads are there, you have to take care of your family and so on. And I mean, your husband would have been carrying, that leg of the journey because you're working together, we are one. But sometimes when half of you gets wounded, then you still have to be that soldier that is holding on to the other half and pulling, right, the other half, so that we can make it. And that's why I want to give God thanks that I never quit on my husband during that time. And I believe that based on everything that I have been through before and how God would have helped me, to be resilient in my past situations, challenges, he was able to convert that in my situation, right, of being the breadwinner for my family. And I'm saying that I really give God thanks, and I really thank my families and friends who, were very supportive to me. There were a few people who were saying that, how you do that? Me not mind a man. Well, in English, I am not going to be the one to take care of my husband. Your husband needs to work and all of that. And I'm so happy for this book too because it brings me at a place. It puts me in a platform where I'm not just sharing my story to people who knows me or knows what I've been through. And I think my story has empowered me where I am so ready to really share with women that, look here, challenges do not last forever. Challenges are really seasons. And if you just survive through the challenge with your faith, balance your faith, get the right support system, just hold on. And once you keep holding on, you will not die. You have enough substance in you to keep you. And so that's one thing that I really want to say, that strengthen yourself, encourage yourself, and of course you will survive. So I'm really happy that I'm a part of this project because and the beauty about it is that after I would have written my portion and read Karla's portion, because myself and Karla is sharing the same chapter, I'm like, wow. You see, sometimes it's just like the prophets. They thought that Elijah thought that it was just only him alone, and he didn't know that there were 50 more reserved there. So sometimes we feel alone and we feel as though we are the only person. But then, like me, when I wrote my story, I recognized that Karla, I recognized that Cheryl is another author, because in the book, Cheryl spoke about having to take on the role of a breadwinner because her husband in America would have lost his job. And so there are many women out there that globally I want to share with you that you don't need to divorce, you don't need to give up on your husband, because we need to understand the purpose of our marriage, and we need to understand our spouse. Who is it that we married? So we're getting into marriage, we need to know who we are getting married to, so that when the rubber hits the road, that it's just a little season. It's not lazy husband, lazy, or so on. And so I just want to say to all women out there that you can survive, that you can thrive if you just allow faith, have a strong support system, understanding the purpose of your marriage, and being determined that you will do whatever you can do to keep your family together so that you all can be successful.
Keisha, as a man, I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate your perspective, and not to say because men should have it easy, but there are real problems up, and sometimes a man just can't deliver. Not that they don't want or they're lazy; they're not in a position to deliver, and it should be temporary. They're not. You should want to make that clear.
Yes, right.
But you said a few things, and I'm not in your anthology, of course, but I'm very happy that you did it and you're telling your story, not because just for you, but because of the impact it can have for other people, men and women, because survival mode is not restricted and confined to just women, right?
Correct. Women. Yeah, that's true.
The saying that life always show up, and when life show up, it's not a good thing most of the times, right? When life pop up its head and just jump, it's normal, But anyway, saying that, but another thing I want to say is about challenge. That you're being challenged, I think, is a beautiful thing. It's a great thing, because if you're living in this confined space where you're not being challenged, it's likely that you're not growing. So to be challenged, even though sometimes it's some tough stuff you're going through in the challenges, it is where you want to live your life, to always being challenged. But that's where you'll find your true self and ultimately find your purpose. And the last thing I want to say is, regarding what you just said, is you have a story beyond an anthology.
Mm-hmm.
You have a story that should be told in an independent book. Your story. So that's my piece on that. Donna, I'll give it back to you. You want to say? Go ahead, Chrissy. You want to say?
I just one other thing. When I was writing the anthology, because I have started to write the story, the story, and the anthology is just a part of this story. Mm-hmm. I was careful enough that I never wanted to go too deep, so that when I'm giving the story, it's not repetitive or so on, because sometimes you want to write a whole so that people can understand the perspective from where you're coming from. So you're confirming something, and thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you told us enough to get us to want to hear more. So again, we commend you on that. So Donna, back to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So Karla.
Thank you.
I love to hear Keisha talking. Oh, I just admire her. I admire her so much. Yeah. So for me, what did I want to get out of writing the book?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I have, based on all of my life experiences, all I've been through, which is a book, which is one of the reasons why my chapter was more of an advisory chapter. I just wanted to give advice in general, so I didn't quite go into most of my story. But as I've been coming through the corporate world, one of the things that I did notice was that I'm the kind of person, I would sit and talk with my staff. I'm always talking to them. I'm always hearing what they have to say. And when I share my story with them, it always is so impactful. You know, they'll say, boy, you're going through this and you're here, boy, I come into work tomorrow because I don't know how you come here. So if you come here, I can come too. So
Mm.
what it does is that it empower, it gives them a sense of, wow, what they are going through is not the worst. And that's what everybody always says. And that's one of the things I like about it. I have a friend who always says, if everybody in the world put all of their problems into a pile, we're all going back for our own.
Mhm.
And but when you're in it, you always think your problems are the worst. And so and so it's true. And so one of the things I wanted to get out of this book, I'm always sharing with my staff, I'm sharing with everybody, I'm doing a lot of presentations at work. They're like, your work presentations are not about work. They're about us. They're about us being better. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. That's how I lead. You need to be better. That's how I lead. The more you're better is the best work I get out of you. We're good.
Indeed.
And so that's how I lead my people. And so I'm always talking to people. Everywhere I go, I talk to somebody. I'm always helping. Um, I'm always as soon as I see somebody in distress in some element, I'm gonna talk to them. I'm always extending that hand. I just believe that we're all placed on this earth not for ourselves, but to be support for each other while we are walking the road. And so for me, I'm the biggest supporter for anybody. Once you're going through something, I'll make the time to help you. That's just me. And so one of the things I really wanted to achieve is that rather than always just being at my desk and talking, one of the things I've always wanted to do is I do speaking,
Mhm.
but it's not something I do in a wide scale because sometimes when you're like, oh, you're not so sure. But I've been stepping out into it a lot more because I think that some of the things that I've experienced are not special, really. There's so many people out there experiencing it, but they don't think they can manage it. And I have, and so I always feel like I should share to build people. And so, what I really wanted to get out of this book was the ability to allow people to realize that whatever it is, whatever situation you are in,
Mhm.
plan to get out of it, plan to deal with it. And once you do that, you'll be okay. So for me, it's just reaching more people in a way that makes them say, hey, especially like a professional coming up, getting married, having kids, trying to do this, to say, look, it's okay. People are going to say you can't do it all. You may be a bad mother. You may not be, your husband you might have some infidelity, and they'll tell you all sorts of things. But you can do it. You can do it. And so I just wanted to reach as many people as I could to say it is possible. Just look at some of the things I've said in terms of how to do it and try it. But it is possible. Don't give up on your dreams because you're a mother. It's possible. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on your dreams of having a family because you have a career, because it's possible. As an accountant, as a risk manager, is everything is okay. How do you plan to make sure that you get everything done? And that's all it's about. Sometimes you don't have to get you don't have to get emotional about it, but you have to depend on a higher being, because sometimes you are gonna need to say, God, I am tired, I'm about to pass out, I need some energy, help. Right? And strangely enough, you'll get it.
Mm.
You ask for it and you're doing something that's really a part of your purpose. You'll get it. And so that's one of the things I just wanted to share with people. I wanted to share more with people so that they could see, hey, it's possible. You don't need to be a millionaire, but it's possible to do everything and achieve what you feel is your God-given purpose.
Mm.
Wow.
Well, let me say this, Karla. Your wish will come true on this platform because many, many thousands is going to hear you. You're not seeing that now, but we have traction. And people will be listening to you throughout Africa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kenya.
Perfect.
It will be huge.
Nice. Yeah.
So, and they need to hear it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing significant work in Kenya.
Yes.
The Collision with Purpose.
Mhm.
And then share a little bit so Karla and Keisha understand a little bit about who we are as an organization. Can you share what we're doing in Kenya?
Sure. So so in Kenya, we went to Kenya last year on a missionary trip to visit. Just a little background story. Missionary trip to visit. Did some work there, and after we left, based on our experience, we came back and we realized that there was a I guess a call for us to do something else there, more work, right?
Mhm.
So we went back, we did some more work, and now it's growing into something even more than than we even probably imagined. But we'll be going back in June of next year again, and we have started with several others a cancer foundation, and it's in honor of one of our dear friends that she's currently fighting ovarian cancer, and it's the Elizabeth Sitawa Cancer Foundation, CBO, which is in Kenya. But the foundation is going to, of course, be something that it's a resource where we'll be able to support individuals and their families and children who are fighting cancer. And the intention is to long-term goal, is to have clinics and places for individuals who are terminally ill and their families to get support and help. And within that, a Collision with Purpose is being launched in Kenya as well, where we have our apparel line. Of course, we have our apparel line. We'll have our books there. So everything that we have here, we will have in Kenya as well, where we're just trying to change the mindset of individuals and help people to find their purpose so that they can live a full life, right? And use their gifts to build themselves and their community.
Yes, and we are a business. We're about students, the younger folks. We are into the scholarship business. We give scholarships. We're having I wish you guys can come. You ladies can come. In February, we're having our colloquium, and we will honoring maybe 12, 14, 15 individuals. We'll have the speaker coming all the way, the dignitary coming all the way from Kenya to speak. We'll have people from Jamaica who we're honoring coming up. We're honoring them, and they'll be speaking as well. And of course, we'll be giving scholarships. We'll be giving scholarships.
Beautiful.
You'll have Donna. We're doing my book, Daily Insights Unveiled. Your Odyssey to Find Purpose. We will do the book launch, that event. So those are the kind of things we do. When we go to Kenya, we're going to Kenya in June. We're bringing maybe 12, 14. I don't know how many. Donna want to keep it to a certain number, but the interest is so high.
Yeah.
And we expect to build some pit toilets while we're there. Different things, all kind of good stuff. But I think, I've been saying to Donna, if we can do something like we're doing in Kenya, why can't we do it in Jamaica? If we can do a foundation, an organization, a community-based organization to just deal with this cancer and this stigma and all that stuff, we're Jamaicans. Why can't we do it in Jamaica? Why can't we do the same thing? It's not hard to do, right? It just needs support on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Support, which is what we're getting. We're getting support from the highest rank in Kenya, from government, shows, and all those people. They're important. But why can't that happen in Jamaica? The people in Jamaica get cancer too, right? Real problems, right? And the healthcare system is not the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible. Because I know.
Yeah. The doctors are great, but the system that supports them is not.
And doctors are only as good as their exposure, right? And their experience. And if you don't get the exposure and experiences, you're only so good because you have not seen that problem before. And you have to see these problems to be good at it, right? Donna, you're in the medical business. Right? So we understand how that works. So why can't that happen in Jamaica? Is my question.
It can
So
happen.
I think it can, but I do understand where you're getting. I do understand where you're coming from.
Before you say anything, that word "but" I don't even like to
And
hear.
no, it's no, I understand. No, I think it's possible. Don't get me wrong. I think it's possible. What I'm explaining is some of the challenges I know exist.
Mhm.
And I know why some of those, because for example, I have an autoimmune disease that affects my liver.
Mhm.
So I will say my doctors are amazing. They've practiced all over the world.
Mhm.
So we were having a conversation one day, and I said, why is it that if I need a transplant, I have to go overseas? I'll never be able to get it overseas. I'm not an American. How will that happen? And a lot of the responses to me are that it's not that we can't do it. It's that there's just the systems aren't there to support us. The whatever is there to support us being able to do it is not here. And it's not for lack of trying. But I think what we need is we need the governments, not one, but both, to really focus on healthcare as a true priority and look at how they can really impact the lives of people in a proper way and set up some structures that will allow persons will appreciate what they're doing if they both focused on it. I don't think it can be a political party thing. I think it has to be a country thing. Let's focus on getting health care better.
Let me
But
tell you why
and
it's.
Uh,
politicize it.
Let me tell you why it's not happening. It's not what we're talking about. Is not happening because of you, me. That's why it's not happening. We have to
I
stand up.
was
We say we're going to start this organization, a membership organization, and we're going to bring thousands of people on board who are not afraid to say, "Here's my $5 a month. Here's my this," and build up the kitty, the pot. That's what we're doing over there. They have worse problems just as bad, but yet we're doing it. It's not happening not because of governments. It's not happening because of the despondency, the state of despondency amongst people living in the country. They're not willing to say, get out of my comfort zone of my little cubby hole where it's safe. They're not willing to say, I am going to put myself on the line and I'm going to start this organization and I'm going to get all of my friends involved and they are going to play as big a role or bigger role than I'm playing. That's why it's not happening.
That's true.
That's why it's not happening. So
Yeah,
I was going to add, right?
Go ahead there. Go ahead, Carissa. Sorry.
Right. I was going to add, I understand where Karla is coming from, but I was just going to say that we just need to have our plan and just put it out there. I believe that there are persons separate and apart from the government here in Jamaica and the ministry and so on. There are other persons who have tried, and I just think that, as you said, gather a group of people and we just do what we need to do, because the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. And it doesn't matter the resistance. If we push harder, then it will happen.
And they're not going to resist because you're doing their job for them. They're going to be happy. They'll take credit for it.
Right. Yeah.
That's what
I'm on board with that.
that's what governments work. They take credit for it. But who cares as long as people are benefiting? We don't take. It's not about who's getting credit. It's about the work. Right, Donna?
Right.
Yeah. We don't care. We're not
the work.
It's not, the whole all of that stuff. It's about the work and it's about humanity.
It's about humanity.
It's about humanity and taking care of each other. Because just like Doc is saying, in Kenya, believe it or not, when you go to where we visited, in comparison to our little island in Jamaica, we are blessed.
Yes.
We are blessed.
Imagine 62 million versus 2.5 million going through this. Problem multiplies, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say no more. Say no more. So it's us. We are the problem. Even though we're doing good for us. we need to take it beyond us. Just like how we want to work outside of our comfort zone, we need to take it out there and say, I am going to be the difference, that change maker. I'm going to put myself on the line. And you know, when you really start helping is when you're not helping your coworkers and your friends, but when you're helping people you do not know.
You don't know.
And that's help, charitable help is about. That's the difference.
Yes.
The charitable work. So that's what we do here at A Collision with Purpose. And Donna, aren't they the perfect fit for what we do?
You have a great mission.
I know they're on board. I know they're coming on board. Because
I am on board. I am on board.
Yes, you are.
I am on board.
They're on board.
And you'd have seen some of the stuff.
I'm on board because I'm on board because right now I'm contemplating. Well, I've written one book before, and it's really overcoming, overcoming doubts and all of that. It really speaks to my life from a child, coming up and having to be confident. But when I sent it over to the editor, I heard the Lord says to me, wait. And I told the editor, I said, wait a little. I will get back to you. But never knew that the Lord was going to, put this project ahead. And then now I'm thinking that I'm going to take it up back because, like what you're saying, my plan is to really share my story and to go back and to help the same people who have been in my situation, those who would have grown with their grandparents, impoverished and so on, and even giving scholarships, if it is even small, donations to and so on. So that was one of my projects that I really wanted to start next year. And I really wanted to do it in all the schools that I've been in. So just to help somebody, this selflessness, just to help somebody. So just listen to what you're saying. It's for the kingdom. It's not about us. It's about God. And he has said to us that we must go out into all the world and preach the gospel. But some people think it's just preaching. Right? It says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your glory and glorify your Father. So whatever we can do to bring change in people's life, then we're honoring our Father and we're bringing the kingdom on earth.
Like that. So, so we'll have this conversation. We'll continue this conversation because both of you are, I'm so impressed, just powerful stuff. The decision to join that anthology, to be participants, is probably the best decision you made, not for yourself, but for others.
That's true.
Big stuff.
Yes.
Big stuff.
And you're gonna see how it changes the changes that's gonna come. It's gonna be remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have just changed. We have changed. By just experiencing it and listening to other people. I know I've changed. I was actually timid about writing my book. After I'm just like, oh no, I'm writing. This is happening. After doing that, it's like, oh, get out there. So that is because I've never been, well, everybody knows my life. I tell my story to everybody. But it's yeah, I'm a chatterbox with that. So yeah, but to write it, to share it in that particular way is always a little bit fearful. But when you come into yourself and you really look and say, boy, this is a part of what you need to be doing. You can't just be a light. You need to find a way to shine the light brighter so that rather than being a candle, you can become the moon.
Right.
And that somehow writing this book and just sharing in a different way to people that I've never spoken to before has kind of been a little bit more empowering, and meeting like-minded women who I can say, guys, we can help in so many ways. Let's help this. Let's do this.
Yes.
Let's do that. Let's make a difference. Because you're always trying to make a difference on your own. But now when you get some people who seem to be in the same mindset of you, of wanting to be something of value to the world and not just to yourself. It's really nice to have come into that kind of zone and to meet people like that.
Absolutely. You landed where you belong.
Just to add, that I had the opportunity to work in France, and my next journey was South Africa. But then when I sent in my application, because I'm an educator, when I sent in my application to the school that I really wanted to go, the deadline, it was a program I really wanted to go with, and the deadline passed. And sometimes we just don't know what the Lord is doing. We think that the Lord, prevents us from doing something, but it's just the timing. And like with this book here, as I said before, that the Lord says to me that I'm to wait. He in himself was saying to me, yes, I wanted to publish that book, but I need you to be a part of this project, because sometimes collaboration is what is going to take you to the other place that the Lord really wants you to be. And I'm really happy for, all of us ladies, came together. And as Karla says, we have the same mindset. I mean, it's like we look out for each other. It's like we knew each other for 10 years. And so when people have the right mindset, just like the Jamaican mission, if we have the right mindset, I say we because automatically I think I'll be a part of it. If we have the same mindset, as we are for the kingdom building, then of course there's nothing that we cannot do, regardless of politics, regardless of resources, regardless of whatever it is. It's just having the mindset that we can do it.
It's about the mindset and understanding to embrace the process. So I'm going to play a little bit of something about embracing the process, because you've been talking about the process and all. I'm going to play a little bit of something, and then we're going to come back and then do closing arguments. So we can't stay here forever.
Yeah,
we would like to. So I'm going to play a little bit. Just bear with me here. Greetings, friends of the A Collision with Purpose movement. Welcome once again to Daily Insights Unveiled, where we continue our exploration of purpose growth and the journey we're each on. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson, and today I want to talk to you about something that we all need to embrace: process. In a world that often glorifies quick results, it is easy to forget that true lasting change takes time. We all have goals, dreams, and desires that burn brightly in our hearts. But how often do we become impatient when things don't happen immediately? How often do we question our path when the journey seems long or when progress feels slow? I want to remind you today that greatness is rarely built overnight. Whether you're growing in your faith, building a career, or cultivating relationships, the process is where the real transformation occurs. It is in the waiting, in the working, in the daily commitment that you're shaped into the person you're meant to become. So instead of focusing solely on the outcome, I challenge you to embrace the journey. What lessons are waiting for you in the here and now? What strength is being developed in you through patience, perseverance, and persistence? Every challenge you face, every setback you encounter is preparing you for the victory ahead. Now ask yourself, how can I honor the process today? Maybe it is by showing yourself grace when things don't go as planned. Maybe it is by celebrating the small wins instead of waiting for the big breakthrough. Or just perhaps it is simply about trusting that the seeds you're planting now will bear fruit in due time. I want you to know that it is okay to feel uncertain sometimes. It is okay to wonder when you will see the fruits of your labor. But know this, every moment you stay committed to the process, you are one step closer to the fulfillment of your purpose. Trust that the journey is just as important as the destination. Each step, no matter how small, is a part of your growth. Remember, you're not walking this path alone. We're all in this together, and we're all in the process of becoming who we're meant to be. Be patient with yourself, with the process, and with the unfolding of your purpose. Today, I invite you to embrace the journey, trust the timing, and keep moving forward. For in the process, you are becoming the masterpiece you were created to be. Until next time on Daily Insights, stay strong, stay faithful, keep going, and blessings always. Yeah, I suspected that based on the conversation, this would be necessary tonight too, because that's what we've been talking about, right? Yeah. So I thought something.
Yes, process.
Yeah.
That I needed to bring this on the platform.
Yeah.
That's all I've been hearing from both of you. So that was just a way of summarizing it. So, we have a thing we call closing argument, and we go around the room. So, who wants to go first?
Okay.
Okay. I just want to say to everyone who this is applicable in the world through this medium, thanks to Dr. Laxley and Donna. I just want to say to you that regardless of the challenges that you are facing, keep surviving, because there's a moment that you're going to thrive. Never give up. Hold on. Have the right support system that you need. Build on your faith. Wait until your time comes, because your season will change. God bless you.
Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
I was actually hoping she would close. That's why I started to talk quickly. I just love how she closes. It's lovely.
So you should have went first. You should have gone first.
I know, I was trying to go first. I knew she was going to do something so lovely that I didn't want to talk about it. Yes, I love Carissa. So what I want to say is that I think for persons who, I just want to leave my final thing to say, for persons who maybe, it doesn't have to be a challenge, it just has to be life, going through life. Define your version of thriving, because everybody has a different version of thriving. Some is for peace, some is just peace. For some it's financial, for some it's emotional, for some it's, so many other things, spiritual. So define what thriving means for you, and sit and think about whatever it is you go through as you walk the path of life. What lessons you are learning that are now helping you to take the next step to that thriving, and be open to them. Never stop to think that if you may be the problem, you have to do introspection, but always look at whatever I'm going through, what is the lesson here? Just as what is the lesson? What am I going to learn to take to my next stage of life? And always, while walking through that process, remember that you are enough, and your enoughness is dependent on how you approach whatever it is that you're approaching. And so that mindset of I am enough, I can do it, will allow you to refocus your energies on looking at challenges and crisis as opportunities, and opportunities to learn and grow, and just try to make sure that everything you do, no matter what you face, leave out of that situation with a growth, with something that you've grown from, something you've learned from, something you'll do better at. And just plan what you need to do, and everything will come into place. Trust God, trust the process, and just make sure that you are ready, because preparation and opportunity will lead to great things. But if the opportunity comes and you're not prepared, then you're going to lose it, and then it's going to be your fault. So always focus on positive things and what you need to do to be better, do better, and become so much better as a person, and everything will come into place.
Can I say? Donna, you want to go next?
Oh my goodness. So with that, I would just like to definitely congratulate you both on your new book and, of course, becoming best-selling authors. Thank you for your time that you've shared with us. Thank you for your stories, and just giving us a little bit of synopsis of your inner life. We do appreciate you sharing that with us, and of course with the audience that's watching, and who will actually watch later on tonight or tomorrow or a few days from now. And definitely, I know that greater things will happen for you both. This is just the beginning of what is to come. And just like what Karla just said, one important thing is be prepared, be in preparation mode, stay in preparation mode, because from this work that you've done, know that there is going to be an abundance of opportunities that will come for you guys. And just stay the course. And I'm proud of you. And I look forward to doing more work with you guys.
Same here.
Thank you.
All right. I guess I'm up. Not much for me to say other than thank you. Thank you for sharing your life. But that's what you just did. It's not a story, right?
Yeah.
Not just a story. It's your life. You've gone in and you've delivered it and brought it out. And really appreciate that, because not so many people can do that. Well, for me, I had to work to get to that place where I can talk about what's inside. So that's a process by itself. And that the way you ladies came out here and you articulate your story, the way you put it out there in a way that it was easily understood, and very impactful. And I am better for it, personally, for having you both here today on this plan. And Seya, by the way, we don't want to leave her out. I'm better for it. Because one of the things I'm learning to do is to listen, to become a better listener. And I will say this to anyone who's listening. If you're listening, make sure you're listening with the right intention, and that is to learn, and not just to give a conversation or come back or to respond. So that's what I did tonight. And because I did that, because I'm practicing that, I learned so much from both of you, so much that I know that I want to do more work with you both. I think alignment.
Yes.
Alignment,
Thank
and
you.
and you're not just, it's coming out. It's natural. It's flowing. It's alignment. You're walking. You're walking in your purpose, clearly. Now, have you done it all? Donna said it. You haven't even begun to do what. So just be open. I know we're doing some work, and I'm thinking about this beyond survival to thriving. And I will get from out of survival and I get here, and I'm back into survival, trying to figure it how it works here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I figure it out. Yes. I know I'm thriving here. And guess what? That's what we're at right now, Donna. We're surviving. We're surviving. So that's such a thing, right? It's relative, It's relative. So if you're out there listening, don't let survival mode be an issue in your life. Let that be a challenge. how to get out of that space, that ecosystem that they call survival mode, and take you to the next step, and welcome being a survival mode there as well, because that is a sign that, guess what, you're working towards something greater than yourself, something bigger than you. You're growing. So to be in survival mode, the joy to be there is to work your way out of there, and to whatever that, right, whatever that means. So that's my piece. I just want to remind anyone that I'm going to be on Wednesday, and life-changing conversations to impact action. That will be 1 p.m. Wednesday, and my guest will be Elizabeth Kisiangani, and we'll be having a conversation with her all the way from Kenya. It's going to be a powerful conversation. We're going to be talking about the foundation. We're going to be talking about her life as a cancer fighter, and her resilience and strength and power. Probably the strongest person I know, the most powerful person I know. We're going to have that conversation Friday. We'll be back on at 7:30. We'll be talking about Bridging Generation Voices of Men. That is our show about men and how to become iron, basically, right, Donna? So we're gonna close out now, and Donna will close out. I'm gonna ask you ladies just to stay for 2 minutes backstage when we close out.
Okay.
So Donna, you want to take us home?
Okay.
Sure. So I'd just like to say thank you both once again for joining us. Thank you to our listeners that have stayed on with us this evening. And once again, if you're going to watch the show later, I do want to say that there is some bad weather that is expecting in our Florida region. So if you are in that area, please take all the precautions, be safe, take care of yourself to be safe, and your family to be safe. And we hope that you have a wonderful rest of the week. We thank you for joining us, and we do not take your time for granted. And like always, Dr. Stephenson says, blessings always.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection, and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I read His word. Blessing come out of my mouth, 'cause I know to whom I belong. I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit.